Hi, Kula members. Thanks for coming to this practice, which will suit you if you want to do just a more gentle somatic yoga practice for your shoulders and arms and begin to heat your core slightly in that somatic fashion, or if you want to work further with me, because we're going to take it from the somatic opening into what I call the Chaturanga dance, which Chaturanga is a posture in yoga that we do that builds core and shoulder strength. So you can do the whole thing, just the first half, just the second half. So full practice for you today. You will want to have 2 blocks, a strap that closes, and a blanket, and a dog. If you have your dog, bring your dog in. So we're going to get started on our backside, and we're going to begin by finding core in a somatic fashion after we land. So please, I invite you to take yourselves down onto your back into a position that feels yummy for you, and I recommend you bend your knees. You could even let your knees fall together. What we want to sense is the way the ground is holding the shape of the spine. And just landing into the ground. So the ground doesn't lie, and it's holding your spinal column in a natural neutral position. So when we're doing some of this core work, particularly when we move into the Chaturanga, we want to begin to recognize this is the position of neutral core. We don't have a big arch in our back. We also don't have a curl in our back. Nice set space of relaxation. And then you might place one hand on your belly, the other on your heart. And I invite you to breathe fully through your whole chest, lungs. You might draw the breath up from the belly through the middle lobes of the lungs and upper lobes. Back down however you want to empty. But breath is an important component to tell you when you're overdoing it, as well as to help you to stabilize. But for now, notice that lightness, the airiness, the expansion on the inhalation. And we're taking that passive exhalation, the body just gently drawing in towards the spine. We're going to begin to add a little bit of a more exciting or a fueled exhalation. We're going to start to use that core. So if your legs are falling together, maybe just stack your knees, your hips, and ankles in a straight line. Place both hands on the belly. And now on your breath out, make the sound of shh, like you're trying to tell somebody to be quiet. And do your best to direct that sensation of the shh into your belly. Breathe in your nose and shh to see if you can feel more of an active drawing in from the navel center to the pubic bone and the 2 hips. It's like everything cinches in towards the center. And breathe in. Let the belly, the ribs, the chest, and the lungs fill again. Breathe out. So we're noticing the ability to voluntarily contract the muscles in the lower and mid abdomen on that exhalation without changing the shape of the spine. Take a few more in your and then we're going to do a little test. So next time you do your exhalation, we'll do our big breath in. Your notice that contraction. See if you can hold that contraction in the belly and bring a hand up to your chest and breathe into your chest again. So we're bracing the muscles in the abdomen, and we have to invite the breath to the chest because this is holding still for us. If you lose it, take a big breath in. Let everything expand, release. Exhale, draw in through the navel center again and direct your breath into your chest. Notice we're still keeping that neutral spine. And there's an ease with being able to breathe up to the chest. Let it all go, breathe in. If you're used to using your pelvic floor muscles, we can also recruit those on that exhalation. Imagine drawing them up and in, and I have a lot of videos on pelvic floor, but take your breath in. Last one, shh. Draw in through the navel center, the pubic area, and the pelvic floor. Bring your breath up into your chest. And take a breath in, relax. Okay, we're going to add a little bit onto this, but before we do, let's just take some nice arch and curls to let our spine move as it naturally would. So on your inhalation, allow your pelvis to tilt forward, and we're going to add the arms to this right away. Press your shoulder blades into the ground and rotate your arms outward because we use the arms for chaturanga. And as you exhale, we rotate the arm bones in, lift the outer shoulder blades, lift the tailbone. So sense the way the spine is now moving. Inhaling into an arch and exhaling and curling. And unfortunately, I have my ponytail in the wrong space, or my head would be moving. Chin towards the chest on the inhalation, chin away from the chest on the exhalation. And this is a tail to tongue movement, letting your legs relax. So now there's this expression of inhaling. Front body is full and expansive, floating up. Back body is compressed or contracted. And now as you're exhaling, make a little more effort, just like you did in the shh, to draw in, to shorten the space from your pubic bone all the way to your throat. Tighten that front body. Inhale, expand the front body. Exhale, tighten the front body. That's good and juicy for your spine too. But we're learning to recruit these abdominal muscles. We first tried it with the in the still spine or the neutral spine. Now you're doing it by changing the shape of the spine, letting the pelvis go into a little bit of a tilt back. Sometimes that helps to feel that contraction. With the arch and the curl to find that active engagement. And now as you actively engage, begin to lift a little bit higher each time. You will be using your legs, so press your feet into the ground. Inhale, come down and arch. Exhale, curl, draw in or shorten the front body. Get your arms moving a little bit more. As I said, we'll be moving our arms and using the strength of the arms. One more. And exhaling. And let go. Just take your legs out, shake them out for a moment. So those are two different ways to start to learn to voluntarily recruit some of your deep core muscles. We're going to go back to this idea of keeping the spine in more of a neutral position and do another one. So placing feet on the ground, you can keep your low back long. So what we watch for, the compensation would be your spine starts to arch, your lumbar spine. We want to keep that neutral pelvis. And then feel your feet where they are on the ground and maybe place your hands like bumpers just above your hips. As you exhale, lift one leg up to 90 degrees. So my foot is straight off my knee and my knee is right over the front of the hip. And then inhale, slowly step it down. Exhale, switch, do the other leg. And you'll see I'm not coming all the way back here. I'm going to stop here. It's actually more work there. Inhale, step it down. Exhale, lift up just one leg. Notice how you're keeping your pelvis. It's not doing that back and forth arch. So right now, where do you sense the power to lift up your leg? And what I'd like you to image or experience is that your leg is being helped, that lifting through gravity from your abdominal area. So you might even exhale and shh to feel that. Make that sound, but imagine that your abdominal muscles, where the timing is kept for the leg movement, are helping to lift your leg. If it suits you, you might slightly press the low back and low ribs into the ground as you lift. But just sense, is there more of an active recruitment or a tightening of the muscles in the front? Like if you had a corset on, is that corset tightening as you breathe Breathe out and lift the leg and releasing as you breathe in. Let the belly float up on the breath in. Draw it towards the front of the spine on the breath out. And I like to just call this one walking in place. You'll know you'll maybe start to feel a little bit of heat coming on. Take one or two more to each side. Sometimes you'll even notice the ability to recruit with one leg lifting more than the other. I always say beats doing sit-ups. And then legs back down. Take your arms out to your sides and just let your legs fall with gravity like windshield wipers to one side and then the other side. Just letting the hips move, creating some freedom. You might let your head go from one side to the other side. Pausing again at the center position. Another one will keep the pelvis more in the neutral space. But now the next test, and sometimes what helps is if you take your hands right underneath the edge of the buttocks, that will make sure that we don't tilt forward, creating that arch and that shortening in the low back, because that means we're going to have a hard time using these abdominal muscles. It's easier to use them in the neutral pelvis. So what you can do is place the hands right underneath the bottom of the buttocks. We're going to lift the legs up. Once again, thighs are 90 degrees from the floor, from my spine, and my shins are parallel to my spine or the floor. So first, just holding that position. You might find you need to draw into your navel center there. I can feel my Buddha belly wanting to draw in. And we now take an inhalation, dip the toes down to the ground, either side. Exhale, come back to that starting position. A little more work. Inhale, let your belly fill. Dip the toes down. Exhale, lift the leg up. So you'll feel your leg muscles again. But see if you can recruit these abdominal muscles like they're helping to lift your leg. Shh. You might even do the shh. If that helps you to feel it. Timing yourself so you're going slow on the up and the down. There's work to be done in both directions. Breath in releases the belly. Breath out, draw in through the belly and lift a leg. The other thing is you'll find that a cheat that happens is the leg comes back here. So if that's happening, you can use your hands as bumpers here again. Just gently press the low back and low ribs into the ground as you're lifting so we don't arch, come into what I call the banana back. Just play with this one. Take a break anytime you want. Are you starting to get a sense of the power of your trunk, those abdominal muscles, to help lift your leg? And if this one's going really well, it feels easeful, then we can add on to it. You can inhale, and instead of just dipping the toes to the ground, the further the leg goes from the body, the more work you create for yourself. So it's up to you. But what you can do is inhale and reach the leg out. Exhale, draw it back to that 90 degrees, like you're pushing on a pedal. And I'm still just checking that my spine is staying neutral. The exhalation may be pressing low back, low ribs down a little bit to help you to feel the power of the front core. Which it gets really fun when I'm doing this and trying to talk to you at the same time. You should be feeling some heat. I like to say a slow burning heat. Go slow. And check to see, is your neck relaxed, your jaws, even your shoulders? Taking one or two more. And then let the legs come back down. This time take the legs out long. We're going to take a full body yawn. Take a breath in, reach through your arms and your legs. Let your back arch. Exhale, sigh it out. Just pause for a moment to feel. Maybe even place your hands if you feel heat somewhere in your body. Where is that heat? Do you want to send that heat into different cells in your body someplace? You can request that heat be distributed somewhere else in your body. Just pausing for a moment. Okay, and then we come back into the constructive rest. Got one more here before we go into the playful somatic version of finding our core. For this one, we're going to take the hands behind the base of the head. You're going to make a little basket of your fingers. Find wherever it's comfortable for you. And we're going to go back to the arch and curl movement. So sometimes it's easier to find it when we're letting that spine move, but recognize the reason we do it is it's the curl that's going to help us to engage those front body muscles. So on your inhalation, in addition to arching the back as we've done, press your elbows and outer arms into the ground, press your shoulder blades down so you'll feel the upper back arching away from the floor as well. As you breathe out, you're going to lift the tailbone into that posterior tilt of the pelvis, but also lift your arms, and for now, just hug your arms towards your ears. You'll get a sense of the pectoral muscles tightening, so we're moving that contraction up a little bit more into the upper chest. Inhale, arch the back, press the arms down. Exhale, curl and squeeze. Inhale, feel the spaciousness and the freedom of the front body. Back body's contracted. Exhale, back body's spacious, front body's contracted. And that's what it is. It's just a relationship. They're taking turns, front and back. And then if we want to add on to this one, there's the opportunity to lift the head. But what I'll tell you with lifting the head is, as opposed to a sit-up, where we often see people bring their chin towards their chest and the throat is compressed, I'm going to recommend that when you come up, you keep your nose straight towards the sky. So keep the throat open and soft. And think of, instead of straining the neck to come up, this is straining the neck, I'm going to use the power of the chest muscles to lift the head. So it's like using the power of the abdominal muscles to lift the leg. So inhale, arch. Exhale, nose up towards the sky. Let the neck be long and relaxed. Use the strength of your arms to lift up. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl, tail to tongue. Throat open, jaw soft. So the arms are recruited now too as we get into the upper chest muscles. And you can barely lift your head if you'd like. What sometimes helps me is to pick that dot or spot on the ceiling and just have a little staring contest with it. So I know I'm not looking at my knees. Nothing to see there. And I want you to get a sense of the way that the muscles around your chest, so your collarbones, your pectoral muscles are tightening. We're also getting more of what we call our intercostal muscles around the ribs. You're working through that whole front line. And here comes the next challenge. Inhale and arch. And now as you exhale and curl, we're going to do that bracing we did before. So this is active. And this is active right now too. You're going to slowly release down. And as you release down, you'll get to a point where your shoulders and your head could be all loosey-goosey. This is still active. So complete control, holding that. This can be released. And then on a breath in, let it all go. So we call that bracing, and it's incredibly helpful, especially if you tend to have low back pain, because by engaging these front body muscles, or if you have shoulder pain, letting the shoulders relax, letting the low back relax. It's like the front here, the transversus abdominis is saying, hey guys, everybody else rest. I got this. So we're going to do that bracing 2 more times. And if you're not wanting to brace, you can just arch and curl again. Otherwise, inhale into the arch. Exhale, curl. Squeeze in. You can get the pelvic floor involved too. Draw that up and in, that diamond shape. Notice you've got that washboard stomach. I know you do. You can tell me about it later. So you're going to keep that washboard. Let your head come down, relax. Neck is soft, jaw, shoulders. I still have this engaged. We've got the oblique muscles going. You can touch it, feel it. Where are those muscles? And then when you decide, take a big breath in. Soften, release, stretch, exhale, let go. Take a moment just to feel. Notice any heat in your body. We'll do that one more time. Clasping hands around your head. Inhale into the arch. Exhale, nose up towards the sky. Lift up, squeeze in. Feel everything supporting you in the front body. And then you're going to voluntarily release it, starting from the head. So any muscles you did have working in the neck, the shoulders, little by little, let it go. You got to breathe into your chest again. And when you're ready, let it all go. Take a big breath in, whole front body. Exhale, release. That's it. So that's our somatic wake-up call. And now we're going to move a little bit into the next part, which we're going to go into the Chaturanga dance. Stay with me for that one for sure. And then moving into more of a Chaturanga for strengthening the shoulders, arms, and core. Thanks for joining me standing. So now we're going to do the Chaturanga dance. And this is a great movement, but it also teaches us to engage the muscles that we use for Chaturanga. So from a standing position, I want you to think of your inhalation filling your whole front body, just like we did on the ground. But as you do that, externally rotate your arm bones. So roll your arms away from you and fan your fingers back. So from a side, you'll see you'll get a little more space in your chest. And then as you exhale for now, just roll the arms back in. So we're getting some shoulder movement. I like to bend my knees. Inhale, take the knees slightly back. And exhale, curl in. Just do a few of these. And notice how we're doing that same arch and curl basically that we did when we were on the ground. We're letting the spine change shape. We're letting the pelvis rock back and forward. One more round doing that. And then pause. And then see if you can keep more of that line of the neutral spine. And now, without letting yourself, so what I call duck butt, your butt lifts up and you shorten your lumbar spine. Without letting that happen, notice the position of your hips and just take the arms back. Keep the spine in the neutral position. There's your inhale. I'm going to keep that neutral position. As I exhale, I'm going to hug the arm bones to my side. So I'm going to show that from the front. Keep the neutral position. So think of drawing the navel in just a little bit. And then inhale, externally rotate the arm bones. Exhale, hug your arms to your sides. So if I pause there for a moment, two things have happened. One is the external rotation of the arm bones is taking the head of the arm bones, that's this area right here, taking them back. Think of smiling your collarbones. That's the way I think of it. And then as you exhale and hug, you're going to feel some strength building in not only your arms, but your upper back and across those collarbones. So we inhale, exhale, hug. Those are the first two parts. You can keep your legs sturdy and strong. Hug. Okay, ready for the next part of the Chaturanga dance. Release yourself a little bit. Okay, so now, keeping that neutral spine, inhale, spread your fingers, turn out, keep that spaciousness, exhale, hug. Now inhale, flip your wrists, so you're going to turn your fingers inward and down, and palms towards me. Here we are. So you should notice in this position, let's do it one more time, then we'll notice. Inhale, external rotation. Exhale, hug the arm bones to the side. Inhale, flip the hands forward. So you should feel like your arms are engaged, your upper back, your collarbones, you got something going on, and we're not doing the duck butt. So we can also draw in just a little bit through the navel center. We're going to do that one 3 more times. Inhalation, external rotation. Exhalation, hug the arm bones. Inhale, hands forward. Exhale, draw in through the navel center. One more time, or 2 more. Inhale, external rotation. Exhale, hug. Inhale, hands forward. Exhale, hold. The other thing you can do on this last one, I happen to have a window. I don't have a wall, although I'm going to make sure I don't fall out. You can do this and then fall into a wall. So what you can do is the inhalation is there. exhalation, hug. Inhale, hands forward. Exhalation, fall into the wall. So if I did it here, I would stand about a foot distance from the wall and fall in. And if you're falling into the wall, you just want to watch that when you fall, you don't go into that duck butt. So you're falling into the wall. It really does help you to feel the core more. You're falling to the wall, drawing the navel center in, just like we did out here. So inhale, exhale, inhale, draw in through the navel center, fall into the wall. Try that. One more time. I'll do it here. You get my business side. Inhale, exhale, hug. Inhale, hands forward. Exhale, draw in and fall. And then this last one, whether you're using the wall or I'll go to my mat so you can see me, just hold for a few breaths. What does that feel like? Do you feel your leg muscles light up? You can draw your kneecaps up your thighs a little bit. Can you sense some engagement in your core? Where are you breathing? Got to bring the breath up to the chest maybe. So abdominal breathing is fantastic when we want to relax. Doesn't work when we want to engage core. And can you feel your upper shoulders and arms? And the beautiful thing about this one is, as you can see, we do not need to be weight bearing. We're waking up the muscles without that. But now we're going to look at still not weight bearing, but the next step in this Chaturanga dance. So for this part, we're going to go back down onto the ground. And you're going to need 2 blocks. One is going to be your pedestal because you deserve a pedestal. And then also a blanket or a pillow will work, but something for underneath your head. The second block is going to go right between the shoulder blades and the back of the heart. So sometimes it takes a moment to do the adjusting. Sit on the first block. Find your tush right on there. We want to keep the knees bent with feet on the ground. Use your hands to walk yourself back. Do any adjusting so it feels okay. Find that second block. Where is it? There it is. Right underneath the heart. That's probably the hardest part of this. You can always adjust the pelvic one. And then put your head on something. Here we are, back on the ground again, right? Thinking we're going to easy street, but not exactly. So you're fully supported here. Find just that right spot, shoulder blades and pelvis. And watch that if the block is too high up your back on your lumbar, you're going to be in that duck butt, in that forward tilt. So you want to make sure it's on the wide part of your buttocks and your low back is long. Should feel better that way. Feet on the ground. Let's do that Chaturanga dance again. Inhale, external rotation. Now you could even press the backs of the hands into the ground to engage your arms. Exhale, hug the arms in. It's the same thing, but now my fingertips are up towards the sky. Inhale, palms towards the sky. Exhale, draw in through the navel center just a little bit, or think of, so if it's like your low back is like a hammock hanging, or your spine hanging between those blocks, draw your back down towards the ground just a little bit. So inhalation, external rotation. Exhale, hug arms, fingertips up towards the sky. Inhalation, palms up. Exhale, just draw the back of the spine down a little bit. And see if you can feel that. Can you sense you've got that activation in the arms and shoulders, but also in the core? Draw your navel center up and in, pelvic floor recoils up and in. Take a breath in, let it go. Let's do that version one more time. Just the core and the upper body. I say just. Inhalation, external rotation, press the arms into the ground. Engage. Exhale, hug the arm bones to the sides, but you'll notice now the shoulder blades will stay back because gravity is drawing them down. So that's our helper here, because when we flip over and do this the way that Chaturanga is normally done, the shoulders are going to want to dive towards the floor, but we want to keep those collarbones broad. So that's the hug the arms, hands up towards the sky on your inhale, exhale, draw in through the navel center. So you got a little bit of something going on. Find your breath. Face is soft. Let it all go. So now we're going to add on to that. Inhalation, external rotation. Exhale, hug the arm bones, fingertips up. Inhale, palms up towards the sky. And exhale, draw in through the navel center. Walk just your left leg long. Take your heel to the ground first. Might just push from there, or lift the leg up. So now we're adding one leg, and you're going to feel that stability kick in, and the gluteal muscles, the hamstrings, the top of the thigh. So we're imagining you could take your mind's eye and imagine if you were flipped over right now and your weight was resting on your hands. Finding your breath. Take a few more breaths here. Let your neck be relaxed and your jaw. Sometimes I pulsate the leg just a little bit to really feel those muscles. Draw your kneecap up your thigh. Press through the heel and the ball of the foot. And exhale. Let it all go. Might wiggle your legs for a moment. Same thing, opposite leg. Inhalation, external rotation. Exhale, hug in. So feel that strong but smiling collarbone area. Inhale, palms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw in through the navel center. Now take your right leg out long. Push through the heel and the ball of the foot. You might even imagine drawing the arch of the foot towards your base of your spine and then lift it up. Get the right leg involved. And you'll know that when you lift up your leg, if your belly flies up in the air, you've lost that core. So take the foot back down. We want to keep that core control. Just breathe there. Maybe pulsate. And sometimes we're at like 100% on the shoulders. If it's more comfortable, release 25%. You still know you're doing something. And you're breathing. Last breath in. Let go. Relax. Okay, next one. We keep going and going. And each step, if you want to go back a step, you can do that for yourself. But we're going to go with both legs this time. Inhalation, chaturanga dance, external rotation, engage the arms. Exhale, hug the arm bones to the sides. Inhale, palms up. Exhale, draw in through the navel center. You can walk both feet forward. You could just stay here, get a nice stretch of your thigh bones. Maybe lift one at a time, see how that goes. So don't lose that core. Belly flies up or you start to arch your back, you're losing your core. If it's there, lift both legs. And make sure you're breathing. So you should feel a lot of stuff going on right now. A little shaky. I know I get shaky. I know it's working. One more breath. Let it all go. So what I find is that sometimes that's actually harder than the real chaturanga when we flip it over because you can't really cheat. You have to engage. So we'll do that one more time because we want the mind's eye, we want our brain and our nervous system to be firing these muscles when we turn it over. Feet on the ground. Inhalation into your external rotation. Exhale, hug the arm bones to the side. Keep that space in the front. Inhale, palms up. Exhale, navel center down and in, pelvic floor in. You can walk both feet forward or just do one leg again if that feels better. Lift them up. Press through the balls of the feet. Draw your kneecaps up your thighs. So now your legs are fully engaged as well as your core. Your head's resting. Feel that. Breathe. Whee! So strong. Let go. Relax. We're going to do a little bonus here. I like doing this one after. Press into your feet. Lift the block up. If it's okay, leave the other block underneath your back. If it's too much back bend, please take it out. Otherwise, you can let your knees fall together. Let your legs go long. Just let your arms hang for a moment wherever it's comfortable. We'll take 8 breaths into the chest. Let the arms stretch, relax. Take a moment to release, relax all those muscles. Gratitude for strength. And we're going to turn over. So take your time. Usually best to roll off the blocks instead of sitting up, but see what you want to do there. All right. Here comes the final version of Chaturanga. And I suppose I might show you Milo won't mind. He's sleeping anyhow. So if we were doing Chaturanga without any props and we're flowing through it, and you see it all the time in yoga, is we go from down dog and we come forward and then we come here. So this is your Chaturanga. What we usually see with most people doing Chaturanga is they come forward and they come here and this happens. And that's really not such a great thing for the low back. So what we want to learn is for the heart to come down first, because we're doing more strengthening anyhow. So we're going to do it on our knees and we're going to use some blocks. So take the first block, and the first block's going to end up, sometimes you can kind of measure it, but the first block's going to end up just above your chest, like right below your collarbones. Above your chest, below your collarbones. We'll find that in a moment. Second one's going to end up going across the middle of your pelvis, just below your navel center. And you're going to need to adjust them, but that's okay. We'll guess for now. And your hands are going to go, you want to think your thumb and index finger, your J's, I call them your J's, are as wide as the outer edges of your arm bones. So nice and wide. And the heels of the hands are next to that block. Come onto your knees and just inhale and rock forward and see how that feels. Do you feel strong in your arms? Exhale, rock back. Take the weight out of the arms. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. The other thing we're looking for as we're rocking forward is when you rock forward, are your shoulders coming all the way over the wrists, or are they still behind? If your shoulders are still behind your wrists, you need to readjust your knees a little bit further forward so that your shoulders are over or in front of your wrists. So we need some wrist flexion here. Spread those hands. Just rocking forward, coming in and out. Exhale back. Next time you inhale forward, let's stay there for a moment. And I can see I need to adjust the second block. I'm going to move it up. We're going to stay there. And on your exhalation, begin to drop down. And what you can do is you can drop and let that block catch you. Make sure it's in the right spot so it doesn't hurt. But you can let those blocks catch you underneath your pelvis and your heart. And just notice your hand position. So I'm noticing for me, my wrists are a little too far forward. I actually want them further back, more like this. But we're just learning where that goes. So remember your Chaturanga dance. Do your arms feel similar? Can you keep that shape of the spine? You can push yourself out. Let's do that again. So I do need to walk my hands down a little bit more below the blocks. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, draw in through the navel center. Hug your arm bones. Think of all that Chaturanga stuff. Come down. So you can pause here, hold it, or you can let yourself rest on the block so you're not fully weight bearing yet, but you're certainly doing plenty. Feel that. Draw up through your navel center, pelvic floor. So right now we're on our knees. And for me, it's actually sometimes more difficult because I don't have access to my leg muscles. We're going to change that in the next one. Let's give our wrists a little stretch though first. Come off of your wrists. Chicken wings. They're my favorite. Take your hands underneath you. Just let your elbows fall. We'll do that one first. Turn a little bit. Rotate your shoulders. Feel the strength in the upper body. So you can continue to do it on your knees, mostly to find the upper body, or the next option is to roll your toes under and lift your legs. So hands come back as wide as your outer arm bones. Inhale, shift forward, hug the arm bones in, draw in through your navel center as you exhale down. So you could even come onto the blocks, roll your toes under, press through your heels. This is our position. I'm going to move back a little bit. So that's the nice thing about the blocks. You can readjust it. What you want to watch for is your shoulders aren't doing this and falling. Lift the head of the arm bones away from the ground. Remember that first part of the inhalation, we were externally rotating the arm bones. There it is. Spread your fingers. Push through your heels. Crown of the head forward. One more breath in. Exhale. Come off. We'll stretch the hands again. Just take the backs of the hands together. Let the elbows fall down. Make some circles. I like to bring the fingers together as I do that too. Go over your head, all around. All right. So before we beat up the wrist too much, I want to give you the opportunity to do one more version of the Chaturanga, but know that you can continue to do it with the blocks instead. But the last version is when we use the strap. So the strap comes in, and the strap goes around the arms just below the elbows, just barely below the elbows. And you want to set your strap so that your thumb and index finger are as wide as your outer shoulder. So what I often see is people's handprint is too narrow. So you're going to get more power, more strength if you go wider. And then before you do anything, just take that strap on and push the outer arm bones into the strap and draw your arm bones into your shoulders. So can you sense the way that you're finding the muscles around your shoulder blades? So if you just drop your arm bones, like that's one thing, right? Lift up, push out. So push into the strap and then plug in. Spread your fingers. Can you get that sensation of your arms being strong? Now take your hands forward and draw the elbows down to your sides just a little bit. We can't go too far because the strap is there. But does it feel like that Chaturanga we did before? Where is that? Can you sense that strength in the upper body, arms, and shoulders? So now the option is there. You could, if your wrists are saying, yeah, I've had enough of it, you could do this version on your back. So, that's in my way. You can find it here, press out, plug your arm bones in. So now pushing shoulder blades into the ground and then coming into this position. So it's really similar to when we were on the blocks, drawing through your navel center. No weight bearing. Nice way to feel it. Or we can turn it over. Sometimes it's nice to keep just the one underneath your pelvis there. Beep. That's like your brake pad there. Spread your hands, push out into the block. And then the other thing I double check, especially, we've got the strap on, but what happens is if we don't have a strap on, and what usually happens is the elbow creases turn in. Remember, we're externally rotating the arm bones. So what that does, go ahead and come on your hands and notice, if you externally rotate your arm bones, when you bend, your elbows have to face back. If I let I call these the smiles on the inner elbows. If I let the smiles face each other, my elbows might do this out to the sides. That's not so good for the shoulder blades, or the arms, and it doesn't strengthen. So turn those elbow creases towards one another, those two smiles. Turn them towards one another, push out into the strap. Feel that strength. You can have that second block underneath your pelvis. And then see on your exhalation, draw in through your navel center. You're going to have to stop here where the strap is. That's okay. What we want to watch is that we're not dropping the belly. So stop at the strap. If you want, you can lift up off the block. Stop at the strap, press through your heels. So we're not going all the way down. That's okay. The mistake most people make is they go too far down. Keep that strength. Pull back into your child's pose or your down dog. If you want to flow through it a couple times, see where you are. Take your inhale in your down dog. Exhale. Float forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale back. Keep using that strap. Press into the strap. Be delighted with the strength of the space around your shoulder blades and your core. Exhale, drop forward. You can also do this on your knees. So feeling that connection of core to arms and shoulders. Your legs. Just grace yourself with the in and out movement. Last one. Elbow creases towards one another. Push into the strap. Try in through the navel center. And your control to lift out before you drop too far. My control to try to speak to you as I'm moving. Let's take the strap off. Nice job. And we'll do some final relaxation, somatic style. So thanks for sticking it out with me. Grab your blanket. We'll come on to the left side first. We're going to do some angel wings for the arms and shoulders. So let your left cheek and ear rest. Bring your left arm forward. You can just stack your knees in any way that's comfortable for you. Start to breathe into your right lung. As you do, let all those muscles in the right side body relax. Core muscles. And as you breathe in, begin to take your right arm down towards your legs, then forward and up overhead. And breathe out. And take it back down. You're going to make some big full circles with the arm. Fill the right lung. Exhale, empty the right lung as the arm comes down. So it might look like the arm's moving, but feel this in your torso. And then whatever you have under your head, just check to see that if you roll towards the base of your skull, that pillow blanket is still going to support your head. You're not going to roll off of it. Because then as we begin to inhale and take the arm over, you can exhale and roll that right shoulder blade towards the ground. Getting a nice stretch to your side body. Inhale, roll back towards your forehead. Feel your skull rolling. Like your gaze is trying to follow your hand. Just let these beautiful muscles that supported you get a nice easy stretch. Feeling the length, the space through your right side body. And eventually you may come to a space, instead of moving, you can stay there. Right hand could stay on your side. You can stay in that rotation. If your right shoulder blade's touching the ground, this is my tight side. So it's not. So I keep my hand on my ribs to let those pectoral muscles relax more around the collarbones because they've done enough. But if you are getting your shoulder blade to the ground, you may just want to let the whole arm come long. Any other leg version that you like, dropping the right leg on top of the left gives a little more stretch to your low back. Could also take the right leg out long, stretch into your right hip, hip flexors, outer hip. What's your favorite version? If you tend to like a little more stretching for your arm, then you can take your right hand to your left foot, and this will also stretch your left thigh, somewhere around there, and be in this position for a few breaths there. Always do you. I'm just giving options, opportunities. 5 deep breaths. Release whatever you have going on in that side. And we'll switch sides. You're welcome to roll to your front, to your back. Rock up, use all those core muscles that you found, and we'll switch sides. Bring your padding width for underneath your head, coming onto your right side now. Any position that feels comfortable for your legs and your hips. Find yourself in your left lung. Breathe through your left lung. Notice the way just your respiration, the expansion of the lung can encourage those muscles to stretch and relax. Many of our core muscles are also muscles of respiration. They stabilize us. And they let us breathe. And then as you breathe in, feel that stretch through the left side, the space between the hip and the armpit. Take your left hand down towards your hip and forward and up overhead. And exhale back behind you and back down. So you're just rolling the head of the arm bone. You're like you've got that ball there right at the top of the arm bone. You're just rolling it in the socket. Noticing how that's stretching the front of the chest wall and the upper back. The side body. And then eventually, if you want to add, as the inhale starts to come overhead, you could take your gaze up towards your hand. Let your gaze follow your hand back behind you, letting that left shoulder blade fall to the ground. Inhale, rolling back. And exhale, feel yourself roll through your skull, the back of the skull towards the left ear. And you're coming back onto your right ear, maybe even rolling onto your forehead. Send some juice into that left side. We did our strengthening. We have to do our juicing too. The invitation is there to keep rotating, keep moving if that feels good, or find that place of sweetness within the stillness. So left hand might come to your ribs, just letting the shoulder blade fall. I like to remove my blanket. You could extend your left arm if the shoulder blade's on the ground. Option to drop the left knee on top of the right, a little more stretch around the low back and the sacrum. Or you could go more into your outer hip, extending the left foot. So just try these on, see how they fit you. What fits best today? And the last option I offered on the first side was to bring that right foot back. Take your left hand and find your right foot. If it's there, you can also use a strap. And that gives you that nice shoulder stretch in the left shoulder and your right hip flexor. One of the simplest tests for me is always to see, can I smile? What does your face say about your choices in your practice? Last few breaths. Let go of whatever it is you got going on. This time I'll just come onto our back. We'll be getting ready to go into a rest, a final rest. But before we do, we'll revisit our windshield wipers and maybe add the arms onto that. So just take your feet in any position. They could go wider if you want more stretch in your inner thighs and outer hips. So exhale, let your legs fall one way. Just fall with gravity. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, falling the other way. So no effort. You can sense the big toe and little toe side of your feet. Shifting of the pelvis. And see if your head wants to look in the opposite direction of your knees, just rolling your head from side to side. We can also add the arms. So as the knees fall to the right, let the arms flop to the left, right arm across your chest. Inhale, lift the arms up as the knees lift up. Exhale, arms flop to the right, knees to the left. Sensing that rotation through your spine, pelvis going one direction, shoulders going the other. But not so much of an effort as just a letting go into gravity. Last round. And then if there's anything else that you would enjoy before we take our relaxation, the nice thing is you have that blanket there. You could put the blanket on you. If you want to go back to doing a bit of that chest lift, I was going to invite you to do that. You could take the blanket, just fold it. Sometimes the block is a bit much and it's too hard. But take it and put it right underneath the back of your heart, where we had the block and we were doing the Chaturanga dance. If your head's way back when you do that, then take that block and put it underneath your head. Let your head be supported. Just let your wings, the wings of your heart, find a little bit of space. So the legs could be long or letting the legs fall together. And if you don't want to do the blanket, do you, and just be solid on the ground. Take the time. Find stillness in your body. Where were you surprised at the amount of your mobility? Were there any areas that were tight that you noticed? Where were you surprised at the amount of your strength? Were there any muscles that were fatiguing easier, sooner, or harder to locate? Whatever it is you found, it's all a part of you. And what you didn't find is also a part of you. Offer it all loving kindness. Remember that inner heat that you create has the ability to burn off anything that does not serve you. Not just what we take in through our mouth or our eyes, our nose, our ears, but in our own thoughts. Please feel free to stay in the position you chose for your body. If you have a space where your heart feels expanded, breathe into your heart and your chest. Vitalize. And slowly move, wiggling fingers, moving your head from side to side, rolling your shoulders. If you do have a blanket underneath you, a block, just roll to one side first and pause. Even if you don't, you might want to roll to one side. Take your time. So my admittal is my chaturangas are much more limited these days than when I was teaching 14 classes a week. But I still appreciate that posture, any version of the posture, even the standing dance, just for the understanding that as we do age, we lose a lot of our core strength, we lose upper body strength, and it is a wonderful way to keep that alive in yourself. So thanks for joining me. Peace, joy, love, and light.